I'm not ready. Yep, keep moving in. How many more we got? Take another row. We got more? Okay. We're going to have more rows. Everybody, yeah, we're going to have some people down. Scoot your foot this way.
Wow! I did see that.
Everybody's going to have to scooch in as much as you can.
More seats up there. They filled up.
Here to carry. Forward, march. Right, face. Return to post. Post. Recover. Reset. Arc. Flare. Arm. Flip. Face. Forward. March.
Stay back.
All right, good morning, everybody. If you please bear with me, I'm about to lose my voice, cough, fever, everything else. I'd like to welcome everybody out to the 2015 9/11 Effingham National Fallen Firefighter Foundation Honor Climb. First of all, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors that have helped us out this year, making this possible, as well as Jonathan Polkey from Battalion Chief from Shumway Fire, Cheryl Painter, and all of our support staff, and special thanks to our loved ones supporting us during all the planning for this event. We do have a few guest speakers, but before we start today's event, before we have them come up, I do want to take this time to reflect why we are all here today. 14 years ago, our country was attacked. Shanksville, Manhattan, and Arlington County, Virginia, and the entire U.S. was left heartbroken and devastated. Although on this tragic day, first responders' deaths included 71 police officers, 343 firefighters, 8 paramedic EMTs at Ground Zero, and 55 military personnel at the Pentagon. Overall loss of life for 9/11 was 2,977. Almost 3,000 fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and friends were left behind. 3,000 hearts that were taken abruptly. 3,000 hearts that, because of these events, have missed birthdays, holidays, seeing their kids grow up and graduate school. Families who had said goodbye to their loved ones that morning to never have them come back home. But these were unique, brave individuals placed potentially to save lives that day. You've heard stories of hundreds of victims going back up to help others in need, putting their own lives at risk. And although almost 3,000 lives were lost that day, the untold stories of the heroes is what stands out, the symbol of what America is all about. The firefighters, police officers, even court officers that ran across the street to help. The paramedics and first responders and citizens that unselfishly entered the building, entered the stairwell, and even after the first tower collapsed, still went into the second tower to help victims, knowing it was just a matter of time before it would also collapse. Every single one of those heroes that died that day made a choice, stood by their country and their oath as a first responder. Those heroes entered that stairwell and headed up to assist those in need, knowing full well they may not come out. The untold story of the heroes is what we all need to take from this tragedy. The fact that every single man and woman chose to go into what is only described by survivors as hell, even if it meant not coming out, guiding the scared, frantic, hurt, and injured to safety. Now, because of those heroes, the story that's not told is that 25 to 30,000 people were evacuated from the towers that day. It's our duty as first responders and citizens of this great country to go and remember those fallen and never forget those heroes. Because of them, almost 30,000 people still have their family members. We must never forget rescuers and victims are still out there, still suffering from injuries, cancers, and PTSD, depression-related medical problems. 1,400 9/11 rescue workers who responded to the scene in the days and months after have since died due to illness and injury, and almost 2,000 people who worked, lived, and studied in Lower Manhattan have since been diagnosed with cancer as a result from the toxins at Ground Zero. We will continue to honor these fallen and those who continue to suffer from the tragedy of 9/11 and celebrate the lives lost and let each individual know we're still here. We have not forgotten. Now, one of the biggest things is everyone looks at it as a tragedy when honestly it should be looked at as one of the biggest rescues in fire department history versus one of the biggest tragedies. I said 25 to 30,000 people were saved that day because of those brave men and women. Definitely glad to have everyone come together to make this event possible. With all of your help, along with sponsors, we have raised between $3,000 to $4,000 as of this morning to support the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how amazing this foundation is, our first guest speaker today is State Representative for the foundation. He's the only Illinois representative for the local assistant state team with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. With almost 40 years in the fire service, he was conferred as Chief Fire Officer by a Commission on Fire Accreditation and Chief Officer designation, making him one of only 506 chiefs worldwide to have this designation. He's lead instructor at Mavis 54 Fire Academy, past president of Illinois Fire Chiefs Association, and current president of Mavis 54. 2009 Illinois Fire Chief of the Year Award recipient, and more importantly, my chief, Effingham Fire Department, Chief Holly.
Well, good morning. We honor this day for the last 14 years. And we think about the death of 343 of our own. But what I think is more important is we should be celebrating their life. They have touched endless people over their years of service. And we will never know how many people they saved individually that day as they were going up stairwells and reaching different people and different individuals to bring them down those staircases that given day. So to start with, I would ask that you give them applause for their life. I also want to say our law enforcement partners, and there are some here today, they've been taking a pretty bad beating. And at our station, we put up blue lights that we're shining on the stations every night to show our support for them. So cops they're not like firemen, they eat donuts. Their dogs are a little different. But let the police officers know what you think about them as well. Give them a pat on the back, give them a thank you while you're out on the street with them. They're taking a bad beating here, and we work with them every day, and we try to watch their backs just like they watch ours. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the event today.
Whenever I think about that horrible day in September of 2001, I always end up falling on a poem I studied in my youth by Alfred Lord Tennyson called The Charge of the Light Brigade. The similarities are profound. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said, into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made. Honor the charge they made. Honor the Light Brigade. Noble 600. May God continue to bless the first responders of New York City from that fateful day 14 years ago, and bless those who continue to go into harm's way every day to save our lives and our property, and bless those who are committed to preserving our American way of life. As the great American Mayor Rudolph Giuliani said in the wake of the 9/11 disaster, I am always amazed at how these men and women walk into fires when the rest of us run from them. Thank you to Fireman Jared Estes and Jonathan Baholke for working hard to pull together this very important memorial. God bless America.
In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was a bell that signaled the beginning of the day's shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which summoned these brave souls to fight fires and to place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow citizens. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled to all the completion of that call. When firefighters died in the line of duty, paying the supreme sacrifice, it was a mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced the comrade's passing. We utilize these traditions as symbols which reflect honor and respect on those who have given so much and have served so well. To symbolize the devotion that these brave souls had for their duty, a special signal of 3 bells, 3 times each, represents the end of our comrades' duties and that they will be returning to quarters. And so, to those who have selflessly given their lives for the good of their fellow man, their task completed, their duties well done, to our comrades, their last alarm, they are coming home.
Good job.
Good job, buddy.
It's an honor and everything. I don't remember. I spoke sometimes I didn't make it up. An honor and everything. And then they start to sweat and they get even heavier.
You guys are in the shower, no way.
This has been in the works for a number of months. I mean, early summer probably was when we started talking with you, and I'm sure you've been going at it even longer than that. This is an official Fallen Firefighters Foundation sanctioned event, correct?
Yes, it is. All the funds that are being raised are going to be, they already are donated to the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation, which would be if one of our fellow firefighters were to die in the line of duty, they would come and take care of their family financially, emotionally, and support them. Our Effingham fire chief here in town, Joseph Hollamy, he's actually the state representative, the leader of the team, which would be the ones that come be on the ground within 6 hours of the line of duty death to help out the family. So supporting a good cause is all near and dear to all of us that are participating today.
Do you have any rough estimates as far as money raised so far, and then how are we looking as far as participants?
As of this morning, we had about $3,000 to $4,000 raised. I say that because we had some last-minute payments that went through, that just kind of went through on the email, as well as extra shirts, things like that. We did show 50 to 55 climbers. Some of them were scheduled to work, sick, new jobs, stuff like that. So some people weren't able to show up, but their donations still were received, so that was kind of nice.
So it seems like a great turnout, a really well put together event, and an important event. I think it means a lot to a lot of the people here to be able to participate in this.
Absolutely. Well, the whole thing is we just wanted to be able to have an event for everybody to participate in. It's not, just me or just Pokey or just the hospital or anything like that. Just hopefully next year we'll have so many people helping out with it that makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, we just wanted an event for everybody to be able to participate in.
Jared, appreciate you talking here, and good job with this event, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah.